Syrian UN ambassador Bashar Jafari spoke after the regime delegation met with de Mistura.
The basic references for the indirect talks, Syrian indirect talks, prohibit raising such scenarios. What we are talking about here is how to keep the unity of Syria, how to respect the unity of Syria, the independence of Syria, the territorial integrity of Syria, and
Let's get more on this and speak to Sinan Hatahet. He's from the Omran Center for Strategic Studies. He joins me live in the studio. Sinan, many thanks for joining us. The PYD have announced that they're declaring the self-controlled federation in Syria. What does that actually mean?
Well, that's actually the continuity of the previous policy in the northern part of Syria. They have already declared 3 cantons, one in Afrin, another one in Kobani, and the third one in Kamishlo. And the federation here is actually to force the hand of the rest of the Syrian national forces and as well as the political parties to accept a de facto situation in which the Kurdish PYD-led PYD forces will control this region and try to adopt a similar Iraqi situation.
Okay, so firstly, how much territory do they actually have? Is it quite a large amount?
It's around 16% of the Syrian territory. It goes through the northern eastern part of Syria till the Euphrates River at Afrin, and this is the most consequent and large territory. Then they have a second territory in Afrin, which is the northwestern part of Syria, but is currently not linked to the rest of the territory. And this is what actually your correspondent has pointed out in her report.
Well, that sounds like quite a lot of territory, but they've been left out of the Geneva talks.
Yeah.
Do you think this is all about sort of getting attention on that point? You know, why have they been left out? Don't leave us out.
This is partly, an attention call in order to include them more often, or to include them all at all in the talks. But it's also a clear, policy of the PYD. It's not the first time they've spoken about it. It has been announced and over again over the last past 2 years. The canton also policy that they've initiated 3 years ago was a step towards declaring a federal system in the north. So it's not a surprise, to be honest with you. It's actually something that they've been promoting for a long time now.
Okay, but what is it going to mean in terms of Turkey's reaction? Because we've seen over recent weeks the military bombing the PYD in Syria. Will we see an escalation of that crisis maybe?
For the time being, I don't think that Turkey will escalate more. Maybe, more bombarding, maybe more efficient and targeted missiles. But I don't see Turkey getting involved in the war. I don't see Turkish forces entering Syria for the time being.
But they have been bombing into Syria to attack the YPG specifically.
Yeah, and that's the extent of their intervention for the time being. I don't see it going beyond that point.
Okay, finally, I mean, the US has been supporting the YPG for a long time. Do you think this will change their views on how they view the YPG?
No, not at all. Once again, this is not a surprise, neither for the Syrians, neither for the Americans or the Turks even. So the Americans have been supporting them in terms of weapons, in terms of also finances. They have also shown quite an interest. They have been visits to Kobani a couple of days ago in Afrin itself, which is between because it's an isolated area. And I think this support will keep on actually growing even in the current time. And I think that the main challenge the U.S. is going to confront is actually the Turkish government itself. Turkey is a part of the NATO, is also a strong ally, actually the strongest left in the region. So how are they going to convince Turkey of accepting such a reality?
Yeah, it's a very tricky balancing act. Sinan Hatahet, many thanks for that.